afternoon.
Yes, it is the afternoons.
Yes, it is.
Is this the most afternoon it gets on the Pacific side?
I would say so.
It's the most. It is the most of the afternoon.
It's like right after lunch or beginning lunch, depending on what you do and when you start, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Cleric Talks.
My name is Michael Gramling. I'm the Bard Creative.
I am Cindy, the High Priestess 710.
And today is a day like every other day where we talk about stuff and do things.
Yes, we talk about a lot of stuff.
All sorts of things.
Yes.
Our
main focus is Dungeons and Dragons, though.
I think yes. Our mainstay focus is the Dungeons of Dragons.
Yes.
We have a couple of morning announcements just to get those out of the way. We have a couple of cool things for you guys as viewers to check out. If you look at our info tab or panel, or if you're on PC, you scroll down for a moment. Our Patreon, we have links to our Patreon. You can donate to us to help support the show if that's something you'd like to do. There are links to all platforms of social media that we use. So if you want to follow us throughout the week as we post appropriate things, you can follow us there. We're working on our stream schedule. You can see that every Tuesday we stream live at 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time, and Thursdays we're working on it.
Yes.
You can catch us this Thursday as we continue our adventure in the Essentials Kit.
Yes, every other Thursday is what we've agreed on. So this is the second Thursday that we've chose to do it within that structure of scheduling.
Yes.
So we will see how that goes.
So come tune in this Thursday. You can see Lo and Lee.
And us, of course.
Yeah, Cindy and I get to dungeon match. I'm coming for blood. I came for blood every single time. You guys.
Fish is coming after 6-year-old tiefling blood too.
I'm very excited. This Thursday, no spoilers. You guys are all dead. In the time that I had,
we'll see. Sylvie's kicking some ass as a rogue. She's getting lucky. Like the dice love her. I think right now, out of the set of dice that I'm playing with, she has been their favorite because they are rolling high for her.
Mine's been taking a break, waiting for the moment to strike. But my dice are prepared. We've gone over this. I play tested some of this earlier in the week, and I annihilated the group of people that I was playing with, and so I'm going to do it again.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So tune in this Thursday, 7 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, Rock?
8 o'clock, Rock.
Tune in at 8 o'clock. We're gonna game and do shenanigans.
Oh, been called out by the mist.
I healed everybody. It was...
Well, you're a mean murder hobo of a
No. So Katie Ivy is talking about Tomb of Annihilation. Disclaimer, Tomb of Annihilation will make your players hate you. This is... if you look on D&D Beyond, there is a small disclaimer with an asterisk that says your players will hate you because you will kill them all. And it's not like, oh, I hate you. It's like I hate you with like a burning passion kind of a hate. I'm
not going to lie. When we played a little bit back, and I played with like Decevia, my Drow rogue, and some of the. Granted, I know there was a disadvantage and all that with the light, but with that being said, there were many fights between the cleric and I while in Chult.
Yes, no.
That's why Esperanza was just so much more.
I'm working on. I want to run another rendition of Tomb of Annihilation. It's a module of mine that I love. It's fantastic, and I'm really excited to share some of the changes that I've made to it and see how my players react to it. Otherwise, moving forward, we are doing more shows. We've been hot in the studio working on developing shows and all the cool things that kind of go with that. So just keep with us. We're going to be doing all sorts of things from painting minis. We're going to be something that we're going to discuss a bit today, but how to DM better and the prep that goes behind it.
Which, because I'm not as seasoned as you, I definitely am going to need some pointers because I might think I have it all together, but I'm sure there's going to be things that I'm missing. So.
Also, Patreon. Currently, we are working on things to give you as subs and things of the like. Also, huge shout out. Thank you to everyone that has been supporting the show, all of the follows, all the subscriptions. It's been wonderful. We've been enjoying doing the show, and we really look forward to giving you better content, and more this face.
Because that's what they want, that face.
All of this. So let's move on to what we're doing today. Cindy, take it away. What are we doing?
Well, we talked a little bit about what we're doing today. What are you trying to? We're just throwing all that out.
I don't need that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
what are we doing today?
Today we are going to going into season 9. We are descending into hell, but it is also Halloween that is creeping upon us. And one of the most famous stories in the Dungeons & Dragons world, if you are anywhere near familiar, is the wonderful story of the Curse of Strahd. The most handsome vampire I've ever seen. I mean, look at that.
This is a self-portrait of myself. A few days ago, I ate a lot of food since then.
I'm so glad I didn't say sexy right before that, dude, because then I'd be like, no.
It's very sexy.
This is before a sandwich. Is that what you said?
Too many sandwiches. And some Taco Bell.
Okay.
Toasted cheddar chalupa box out now. Check it out. It's delicious. Oh my god. I just plugged it. Oh! Back to the Curse of Strahd.
Yeah. So we are planning to be running that, and I will be DMing that while live to you guys. And we'll have some special guests on the show playing. And I'm really, really excited about it because I've been wanting to run this campaign for this would be like the second year that I've talked about it.
You speak about this all the time, and
it gets aggressive during Halloween time.
It really does. To be fair, Cindy, you love Halloween.
I
and you love pumpkins.
Can I tell you my biggest collection piece of my Halloween collections of all the things I've collected?
Yes.
My most prized possession of my collection is the Cleric, because his birthday is on Halloween.
That's fair.
So when I found out, I was like, hook, line, and sinker, we're in.
That's gonna be my new hand, everything that I'm gonna do now. I'm just the hook, line, and sinker. Are you hungry for dinner? Yes.
Oh, there he is in the background.
Surprise.
But yes, I definitely love Halloween. I grew up like vampires and witches and things like that have always been my main fascination with the spiritual stuff of Halloween. And I mean, granted, season 9 is really cool with the demons and the devils and all that kind of stuff, but to me, the most appealing thing to horror is not like that sort of spiritual aspect. It's more of like the ghosts and the vampires and the psyche of the mind, and where horror movies can take you with your head, like just barely showing you something.
And that's all Curse of Strahd.
It is. It's
like from cover to cover, it's filled with all sorts of things. Like it has little blips in there where they tell you like the description of a silhouette of something that you see from a flash of lightning, and it tells you about like the grotesque sounds you might hear as you walk down an empty hallway, and also Curse of Strahd has all of these things.
Like great example. If I was DMing a moment, let's say Esperanza was walking down a hallway, and like she walks by a mirror in the hallway and she catches a glimpse of herself, and for a moment she sees like patches of fur missing on her face, and like she looks old and ran down, and she would freak out, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden she blinks and it's just her face, and she like doesn't know whether she imagined that or not. Like that for my character would make me piss my pants. I'd be like, oh my god, what's about to happen? Like someone's here now, she's seeing this, and it's just a moment, and that, like, it's always got you not knowing, like, oh shit, what's gonna happen, you know? And like the whole Freddy Krueger aspect of like they could be sleeping for just a short rest, and like you can mess with your players during a short rest, and like get to just one of them, you know, and like make them freak out to where the whole group's like, what is your problem, you know? It's just, I love that, and in my mind I see that. I've seen so many horror stories that I can just totally add a lot of the things that I love to like certain personalities of certain characters.
I mean, now following all of that stuff, Curse of Strahd is not a beginner adventure for a beginning DM. Like, it's
all of this. I mean, that is a lot. This is
The
one of the biggest books that I think we've seen, besides like the player's handbook and the Dungeon Master Guide and the big books that have all those rules and all the extra stats and all that kind of stuff. This has to have so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty like descripted in the beginning of the book. Like, hey, as a DM, you need to read this like 2 or 3 times because there are so many elements that go on through the entirety of the adventure, and you've decided that you want to run this as your first DM starting. Yeah.
Look at what Fritz says.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
Fritz, trust me. I know what I'm getting myself into.
Now, in comparison to something like Ghost of Saltmarsh, Ghost of Saltmarsh has like a very linear progression.
Yes.
And it's way easier. I mean, Tomb of Annihilation has a pretty it has exploration, but for the most part, it's very linear progression. Unlike Curse of Strahd, where it's like, well, you can encounter like the end of the book here. Here's a segment, like it hops amongst it so much.
What does that say?
Jumping right into that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of jumping back and forth. The way they describe in this book, because everything, like you said, it's very linear. Everything there's a path to where you have to go. Whereas with the Curse of Strahd, you have to be prepared as a DM to go in a direction that you may not be ready to go because it's supposed to be this advanced area. And like, you can hint to your players that maybe that's not the best.
Like danger zone.
But if you have a player at the table, I don't know if any of the players that I have at the table are going to be that persuasive, but if they are, I have to be ready for that. You know, like, okay. But at the same time, I don't want to make it like not fun, you know, and I have to be ready as a DM. And how am I going to make this work for where they're at right now?
Well, you know, when all else fails, just kill all the players. Just start again. Okay, roll new characters. See you next week. Goodbye.
I mean, I guess you just make like an ominous voice whisper in their ear, like.
One thing that
I
like,
make them run.
So they Curse of Strahd does a really good job of really helping the DM get creative in these concepts. Like when you're getting ready to encounter like a big situation, to like start describing like claw marks you see against the walls, or like the fetid smell of the dead as you approach, and like as much as you're telling the players like there's danger afoot, still keeping it like a hint of mystery and that elder core kind of a thing. I'm a huge fan. I plan on running Curse of Strahd, but me as a seasoned DM, like I'm actually a little bit intimidated. Yes. I'm intimidating.
Rolls a 2.
Yes.
-1.
So what have you been doing to kind of prepare yourself? I mean, for the adventure.
I am preparing myself mentally.
What does that look like?
No, I mean, obviously reading. You can see in my book, I do have tabs. I mean, there will be so much more because it's.
You're highlighting stuff in there.
I am. I literally treat this as a textbook. I have. Hold on. There are parts that are highlighted if I can find. Yeah, see, like you could see where I've highlighted things in my book because I want to remember certain things while I'm sitting there. And it's going to be one of those things where I'm literally going to be like holding like a Bible and I'm a priest and I'm just like sitting here and I'm like, okay, hold on. And we're going to do this, like that's how I imagine it.
One thing that I will say is that I've been recently using a lot of the D&D Beyond where you purchase the electronic books.
Yes.
At first, I was kind of timid at the concept of I prefer the physical copy. However, I found a lot of utility in using D&D Beyond. So if you, as a DM, haven't gotten the chance to try getting an adventure through Beyond, it has really helped out. I've been doing it with the Tomb of Annihilation. It makes finding monster stats on everything's ready for you. You can hop around pretty well. You can have multiple tabs open, and I'm a huge fan of Beyond.
Belloc wants to know if the Bible is a legal D&D weapon. I guess
100% is.
If you're a certain cleric, I guess. You know what I mean?
mean
or maybe if I throw the book at your character, at you, maybe at the table.
More than that, so because I get to play, I've created quite a few characters, but one of them is like a little priest, like a priest
and
in
he's
training.
Feisty.
Not really feisty. He's very calm and collective. He's gonna walk in there lawful good, and I expect by the end of the adventure he turns neutral. I don't know if he's gonna hold on to his faith at the end.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
That's my plan.
That'd be a character to bring into Strahd.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Strahd would totally mess.
But a part of the Bible bit is that's literally an element that I'm integrating into the character himself. He's spent his life surrounded the concepts of demons and the bad things, the bump in the night, and he could pray it all away. But a Bible's not really gonna.
Not in the world.
It's not gonna get rid
of
no. But that's a character that I might bring into it, and I'm really curious to see how he would develop and the scenarios that you would bring to the table.
Yeah.
So yes, a Bible.
See, my brain now, the wheels in my head are turning, and I'm thinking of all these multitude of horror films that have to do with a priest questioning his faith, and there's so much I could do that Strahd would totally fucking fuck with,
I think it'd be fantastic.
That would be great. That is a great character even for you to bring to me to be able to enjoy as a DM. And that's what it's about, I think. I think it's about not just feeling like you're coming into DM as a job. You're coming in because that's your role in the game. Mm-hmm. It's a game. It's for everybody. If you're the DM, you're playing the game. You're not just running it. You are the game,
Yeah.
And that's and how
you are the shepherd.
Yeah.
To the livelihood of my character.
And I think that is really cool, and I appreciate that kind of character. If you would bring something like that to the table.
The only thing I'm working on is because I'm not gonna min max my character. So he my Bible thumping priest in training might just end up being a fighter, not a cleric. He has no magical abilities whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's just I can swing a sword, but why would I do that when I have the most sacred weapon with me? Bonk. Bonk. So, but we'll see. Because I like the concept of Barovia and the concept of a lawful good character going there, and how delicious Strahd would it'd be so tasty. Strahd would love that so much.
Oh yeah, he would be oh yeah, he's questioning his faith because it doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and really rattle him. That is great, You want a Danny, right?
Lawful good. Let's throw the book at him. Cleric chuckles.
Look at Danny, the tavern brawler improvised weapon.
Yeah.
The bonk.
Bonk.
But yeah, for me at the beginning of the book, when you're reading it and you go through it, you start to realize how important the very beginning of the story is, the intro to it, the way it begins for each individual character, because everyone's going to have their own backstory when they come into it, the best I could do is start a channel where you guys all talk to each other, like a little like chat, you know, where the players I know that are going to be playing can all chat, and I could see what you guys are going to be doing. So that
kind of let us build our own narrative in the beginning.
So that maybe I can then play off of that. But even then, I still see everyone having their own individual sort of background, and then having to play on how that comes in. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of cool things in there. And something I was having a conversation with you guys yesterday about was when I was talking about preparing for this, that I want it to be very clear by the way I come and like just when the game starts, like what I expect from you guys too. You know?
That's fair. I mean, so Fritz just put in asking about like our backstory and story points or something that we would like to see our characters like encounter in the adventure. Is that something that you would like to see?
Like I would want to know what makes you the most happiest. I want to know what is something that character like cherishes and loves. And then I want to know what their biggest fears are.
You want to know my character's like biggest like weaknesses. Like his moral like quandaries and like the things that really like push him to do everything. Okay.
And I would like to know very significant moments of if it's a player, a character that you guys have already played before, that you guys are just refreshing to bring to the world of Strahd, to Barovia itself. I would want you to also give me a very proud moment that you had in one of your adventures, you know, and also one of the maybe a time where someone had to save you and it was very memorable to you that person saved you. Those are the type of things I would ask from you guys.
Fritz, are you familiar with the knife theory?
The knife theory? No.
This one I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Kenobi-san, do you know anything about the knife theory? So the theory is if you throw a knife really hard, it will return to you.
That's a boomerang.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, see, when one knife loves another knife,
hold on.
They turn into scissors.
When writing a character's backstory, it's important to include a certain number of quote-unquote knives. Knives are essentially anything that the DM can use to raise the stakes of the situation for your character. Anything that can make a conflict personal, like a threatened loved one, or the appearance of a sudden enemy. They're called knives because the player lovingly forge them and present them to the DM so that the DM can use them to stab the player over and over again. The more knives a player has, I'm waiting for the rest of it. He's writing more.
So while we're waiting for here we go.
When breaking down a backstory, it kind of goes like this. Every named person your character cares about, living or dead, i.e. sibling, spouse, childhood friend, plus one knife. Edit. A large family can be bundled into one big knife. Every phobia or trauma your character experiences / has experienced, plus one knife. Every mystery in the character's life, i.e. unknown parents, unexplained powers, plus one knife. Every enemy your character has, plus one knife. Every ongoing obligation or loyalty your character has, plus one knife.
One thing that's great.
Yeah, Belloc, that's pretty fucking brutal. I love that.
I build my characters.
The knife theory.
With I wouldn't call it the knife theory is the way I build my characters with the knife theory. Like would I start delving into the motivations and stuff? Because I love giving the DM like, hey, if you need me to go a certain direction, here's the piece of candy that my character really likes, and it'll just be like, oh, here's that candy that you said that you really like, and I'm like, I jump into the pit with my Bible in front.
Well, okay, so I don't know how much you guys like watching horror stuff, but right now I'm in the middle of watching this show called I think it's Marianne. That's like this French horror like show that's on Netflix. Oh. So each episode's like an hour-long horror movie, and like I'm on episode 8, and it's all about this witch spirit evil woman who gets into the heads of these kids that are now adults. So like it already preyed on what was gonna happen to them in the future when they were kids, and then it came back and haunted them and reminded them of like and then as they were growing up would go and like show herself in their dreams and stuff like that. And the lady, the main character, is an author who's been writing her story to keep her alive. And I think that the concept of being in your head and like the dark shadows and never being able to really see what it is that's coming for you, and when you turn and it's gone, I think those mysterious moments are even scarier than, let's say, them coming to a monster and meeting up with a bunch of like, I don't plan on there being super heavy battles. I want it to be more role play. I want it to be something that you go home and you lay in bed and you're like, oh my God, and you think about it because it's still having that effect on you because you are that close to your character when you create it, you know? Like, I want that, because I lay in bed and I'm thinking about this Marianne movie or show, and I'm like, oh man, what if this is it, and what if that, and like I kind of think about it as I'm going to bed because it's such a good storyline, and it's so terrifying that you're like, oh, how is this gonna like get better? You're like, how are they gonna even get out of this? Because it seems like everything they tried does nothing, you know. And that's kind of the same feeling I want to go for. That's why I'm really glad that it came out at this right time to watch, to kind of help me and influence what I do with the story, on top of all the other influences, obviously, that I have.
Well, I like it. So, back to you prepping for the actual thing. So you're using obviously like office, like sticky notey things, or highlighting stuff.
Yes.
Are we going to see like note cards and stuff? Like what else are you doing to kind of help further your DMing like prep?
Well, thankfully things are available digitally, like you said. So being able to access the tools that I have because of AL, the printing aspect of it, I'll be able to prepare the maps, and I'll be able to print those out pretty large. Like,
it's a good thing you have a graphic designer.
I know. Hi. I mean, and I know you guys make fun of me, but like my book barely opens. You know what I mean? Like, it's still nice and like tight. I don't want to pull the map out, but I want to keep it. I know this sounds stupid, but like I want to keep it with all the highlighter and all the markings, so that one day when Zeke gets older and he wants to run this, when he gets with his friends, and he's like, I'm gonna grab my mom's book, and it's still complete. And if he chooses to pull the map out, cool. If not, you know what I mean? Like, he's got access to the digital, but I want to like always keep the tabs there, and that's why I don't mind the highlights, because I want my son to be able to grab my book and be like, oh, Mom's not using this anymore, I'll run it now. You know, and maybe one day play in my kid's game. I don't know. I'm weird like that. I'm a mom, so like I think weird like that.
That'd be cool. What about, I mean, so there's also like minis and stuff, and like terrain and all of that shenanigans. Like, are you also like prepping that?
I am, and I believe we are going to be doing some streams where I might be pulling out some of these minis and painting some of them and prepping them live.
Wow, that sounds like a show that we might have. Painting minis. Wow. Spoiler alert.
But I think what I'd like to do is we're going to go ahead and as we're preparing our schedule, like we said earlier, a lot of it going into Halloween time, I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of start picking up the schedule on our streaming channel and show and kind of just showing everybody the preparation for Curse of Strahd before we actually start streaming it. And I think it'd be nice for everybody to kind of get a feel, like if they want to run it, like what they would do, or maybe do differently, and let me know what they would do differently. I would love to hear everybody's opinions and their style, and you know, because maybe I'd like to try it and add it in later. I don't know. That's the beauty of playing D&D. It's always different. Everyone's got their own way, and sometimes some of them are the same. Some things are different.
Honestly, one of my biggest things about Adventurers League is that because we get to work with all these other dungeon masters and all these other creative minds, it's really broken me out of my little shell of like this is how you DM, and these are all like, you know, the tips and stuff. And then when you go and you meet these other people, they're like, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And I'm like, wow. that's amazing. There are some real amazing tips and tricks that other DMs have, and sharing that is wonderful and beautiful. And I'd love to see if we could do that on a little DM discussion show where we discuss how the dungeon master, I open the door, and then there's a spooky thing. It's like, well, have you considered the door being locked? I don't know where I'm going with that. But
I think we should let the doggy DM. I just don't know if we can understand what he's saying. That's the only problem. Yeah, see? There's, do any of you speak dog?
Mushi says, you step forward. In front of you is the silhouette of a gentleman in a fine tapered cloak.
Look at me.
He stands motionless.
But, yeah. So, so we got the intro. Intro is me explaining, knowing how to set you guys into the setting, breaking it down. One of the most important parts of the story when you're reading the book and you're preparing, they bring up these things called, now correct me if I'm wrong, it's either Taraka or the Taroka. We're not quite sure what the pronunciation would be, but it's this box. Sorry, my box is like falling apart. The glue came off on the side.
Your glue came off.
Yeah, it did.
I think it's support packaging because it happens for everything.
Yeah, the packaging not
it wasn't
not
the greatest packaging. I did travel a lot with it in a bag for a while.
We've got.
Fred says, "Tell me more, doggo. Sing me the song of your people." I know. It's just howling and precious barking.
So this is a cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fun little thing that you get to like bring out and use.
Yeah. And what it is that the deck. There's a whole section here in the book on how it allows you to place where the treasure is found. It allows you to know where to send certain.
Ooh, too many. Let's not spoil it.
No. It's not spoiling. I think it's just kind of help. It kind of helps add where you're supposed to go and where because the world is so big. It does kind of have a slight path, but the path is not always meant to be followed. I guess you could say, like, you don't have to if you don't want to.
One thing we can say is that if you play Curse of Strahd, as you search around and you discover Barovia and the things around it, things are not in the same places every time. So, I mean, Strahd lives there, and he'll be someplace in the world. And what the deck kind of does is it randomizes the location of a couple of key features. That's something that I actually really kind of enjoy. I like that concept of being able to do Curse of Strahd more than once and not knowing like certain elements that are being randomized. So also I really just like the fortune telling. Like,
well, I like that it's not always the same. I like that it's like it in the book. It's not like I have to be like, you can't read it because you're gonna know where this is. It's like, no, I get to run, like, yeah, there's different places that it might be, and you might know like the different locations, but you don't know exactly which location for your story it's at.
Yeah, you think you know,
but you don't even know.
You don't even know. Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't even know.
Are we gonna run like a fake run-up, a fake?
A little mock-up?
Yeah, a little mock-up. I
mean, why not? Okay, because
I mean, when I go to prep it, like, I'm gonna make it like a whole thing. Like, I'm gonna have candles lit.
That's one thing I want. I want there to be a crystal ball right here, and I want you to wear what's the name of the fortune-telling lady? I think she was
the
like
Vistani.
Jamaican.
No. She's a Vistani. She's her name.
I want you to dress up into it.
We're not gonna say
and
her
I want
name.
there to be like low lighting, maybe a spotlight on you. And like we stand there and we do the whole like card reading segment to the intro of the game.
No, Fritz, I don't want it to be AL legal. I'm gonna keep it an open game through the book. If we want to play the AL modules eventually, to kind of like know, I think it was season 4, right? Is what it was. Season 4 was the Curse of Strahd or Barovia in Barovia.
Get locked.
I think we are going to follow some of the AL rules. Like, we're going to do the point-buy system for stats.
Are we?
Unless you want us to roll it. Do you want to roll stats, dude?
Are you gonna roll stats?
Are we trying to roll stats right now?
I really, really, really want you to create a stat leveled Umberto Feathersword. I want him to come to Barovia without Esperanza. Like, almost like endgame status. Like, she's gone and now what does he do?
My
You know what I mean? Like, what does he do now to try to get back to his
like,
wife he's like, that's all he's ever known, you know? And like, he needs to get back to
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like if I'm down to play Curse of Strahd hardcore, like I don't want you to pull any punches, and I'm down to roll stats, dude. I'm down to do it. I'm down to get white.
Well, see, okay, so the person that's that's helping me prep this is gonna be my trusted advisor, Benobi.
Ben-san.
Ben is
Dark
going to be
Soul,
my every, like, when I go to do the cards, and if I do it, I'm probably gonna be here at the office alone with Ben, so that Ben could be like, he could take some pictures to be able to use for later on of like.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
I mean, my Tomb of Annihilation game is set up in the regards that like the jungle is a scary place, and you very may well die. So, good luck. Like, that's the concept of the whole thing is like, okay, you send your characters out, you know, be cautious, be wary, pay attention to what you're doing, and if you F up, like, you're gone. And then you could always make another character, but like, I'm down for the hardcore Dark Souls. Let's get her done, dude. Let's go.
See, Fritz says, I mean, I will paint up all my Dark Souls minis and happily roam them out or loan them out. For me now, I haven't read the Chol stuff. Is there as much richness of the characters as there are in Strahd?
No. So
See,
the one thing. Okay, so each hardcover adventure kind of capitalizes on a particular segment.
Mm-hmm.
Curse of Strahd has like a town, and it's this Eldritch Core, and it's like certain role play elements where you're in a single location,
mm-hmm.
and things kind of happen around it.
Yeah.
When you go to like Tomb of Annihilation does a really good job of like, okay, here is this continent. Here's a continent that will take your characters days to travel and explore. And it's more about like the jungle and going through.
And the fractions, right? It's about groups of people, not like specific NPCs that like make it this.
Mushi!
Mushi, what are you chewing
He's
on?
eating my things!
Oh.
Good boy.
He's a good boy.
Don't eat my feet.
Good boy! Hold on.
He loves to eat those clips, dude. I have these, those are my clips.
Okay. I don't even want to squeeze it. It's gross.
I know. Good boy. Bad boy.
But, I mean, in Strahd, there's like individual NPCs that are just as memorable as I would have to say some of the NPCs that I've encountered in Avernus. Avernus?
Yeah.
Avernus, there you go.
In
I was going to say Avernus, but it's Avernus.
In Chol, there are like NPCs that have kind of rich backgrounds, but for the most part, it's the jungle and the exploration that is really key. Like, surviving in the jungles of Chol is a huge challenge if you kind of dilly-dally and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
Mad Monkey Fever.
Whereas, like,
Get
I feel
some.
like Strahd, it's like you always feel like someone's always watching you.
Yes. Well, I mean, so the Curse of Strahd campaign, I love the concept of the NPCs and the narrative storytelling, and just like the broad, like, concept of the adventure.
Yes.
I love that. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot of places to go to. It is, I mean, I know Cholt's got a huge, like, jungle map, and there's all these other places. But, like, for the idea of it being just this one area, that there's, like, a castle and a town, but there's still, like, other little areas and mountains, and, I mean, there's just so many places to go to.
I mean, Strahd's castle in and of itself is a multi-tier, like, exploration dungeon.
Terrifying and fantastic.
It's awesome.
Once. Yes.
So...
One of his tax collectors has a basset hound. That's kind of great. I mean, child and goat levels of great, but pretty great. Or not child and goat levels of great, but pretty great. He loved. We learned last night that Fritz loves goats, and that will play to the character in me now.
Yeah, in I think season 2 or 3, there's Alessandra, and she runs around with a goat, and it's got a really, really important role. You don't know what it is, but by the end of the season, you figure it out, and it's pretty dope. It's season 3.
I have a lot of goat certs too. I have a lot of goats, pet goats that I have saved up for a random character that I might build.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've got like a Snagglehorn goat or something like that.
Like he just headbutts like.
Yeah, I think he does some damage. I think he can like headbutt things and.
I can't remember, does he like replace your familiar? I think that there's a goat that replaces your familiar.
No, I just got one. Remember where I could it's like a small goat, and then there's or it could be a large one where I can ride it.
Yeah, you can ride a goat.
Yeah, I just got that one at Gen Con. That's for season 9. So I have that one put aside.
Is it like a demonic looking goat? Or is it just like a regular goat?
I think it's just a regular looking goat.
I want a goat with 3 eyes.
Dude, can you imagine just a regular goat? Just you're riding along, just in hell on a goat.
Honestly,
Don't
that'd
mind
be,
me.
if I was in hell and I saw that would be more terrifying than seeing like Baylor.
A tabaxi riding a goat in hell?
Because you're just like trotting around and just, maybe play a song. Here I am on my goat today.
It'd be way more salsa-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How would that sound? Jeez. That's the way I get into my...
Tiki go on my goat today. Tiki 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 tiki.
That would be my character would like that would be a red flag. Like whatever we do not mess with the lady on the goat. The cat on the goat. The cat on the goat, no go.
She actually is friends with Medusa, so yeah, you probably don't want to mess with the cat on the goat.
You like encounter Medusa, and she's like, "Did you see the cat on the goat?" And I'm like, yes. Did you speak to the cat on the goat? No. Why did you not speak to her? She's so nice. She is so perfect.
Oh my god.
I love her.
I'm gonna cry. But
here's a quick question.
What's that?
Slightly off topic. If a tabaxi gets petrified, you know how there's like fur, like it's all thin strands and stuff?
Uh-huh.
Now, does the fur turn into stone into a large like lump, or does each hair individually turn to stone? And if so, does that mean if you petrify a tabaxi, like minimal shaking, like the little things will fall off? Do you think if you unpetrified them, like their hair would come back normal, or like, you know, the hair, like would they be like naked cats?
If I'm gonna think about it, I would assume it would look like an unpainted miniature. Like it would just kind of like turn to stone in one lump.
One lump?
Like as if it got poured cement.
I think each hair would individually turn to stone. So
if
you grab it, like you're like Esperanza, no, then there's like a handprint because all the little tiny stone hairs would fall off. I'm like, oh no, oh no. I'm effing up, you guys. I'm messing up real bad.
She'd be so mad.
She just has a patch of no hair. And she comes back like, I felt real cold for a minute. And what happened to my fur?
Oh my god, I know. That'd be terrible. But she liked it down there.
Yeah, you know.
Like I said, she smoked pot with Medusa. It worked out for her.
Of course it did.
Always does. SB she's got that charisma.
That charisma.
Can you blame her?
No. Let's see. What else can we talk about in your prepping?
Hi, Jordan. Welcome.
For Curse of Strahd. Have you considered running other adventures first, or like?
I mean, I'm going to be running some of these season 9 stuff, but I'll probably be running this before I run the season 9 now. Technically.
That's fair.
You know.
What do you think is
what's
like?
What's going on here? The dog freaking out.
Is he chasing
He's chasing his tail.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
It's on our story already. I caught him here spinning circles where you're just like talking away and he's just.
But yes, he's in the studio today. He's here at his Mushi's Grove. We're happy to have them. But what were you asking me now, Mikey, about
I was trying to ask, like, what's the scariest part, or like, what's the hardest part of prepping that you've kind of encountered so far?
trying to remember all this.
Yeah.
Trying to keep all this under this umbrella and hope it doesn't just come pouring out and you're like, I forgot.
I forgetting.
Because I don't remember very easily things. Like I said, that's the biggest challenge that I've had about wanting to get into DMing is the fact that I read things and it's very, very hard for me to keep things in and hold on and remember stuff. I'm very visual. And I know there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube on how to prepare for it, but none of it's very exciting. And so I need something that, like, I don't know. You know, what'd be really cool is if we could, like, animate it, like explain the storyline and like with spoilers, and then like have it animated so that maybe it's like, oh, okay.
No, Cindy, continue what the frick you were about to do.
And you just watch the cartoon and you remember it, and like maybe there's some like songs, like you Disney like song animated, so you're like you remember certain things.
You're like full like cartoon animation.
How to Run Curse of Strahd Disney animated with song and all.
Oh my goodness.
And then like imagine like the sing-along pop-up ball so that you can remember the lyrics too. I don't know. I honestly, that's the scariest part. It's remembering stuff and trying to be like, I don't want to ruin the experience with, hold on a second.
So one thing that I would like to, have you thought about, like, it's timing. So one thing that I'll do when I prep a hardcover is, because remembering everything, that's very hard. That's not an easy task.
Yes.
With Tomb of Annihilation, I had to break down Tomb of Annihilation into little small segments. And if the players, like, I mean, you always run the risk of the players like going left and just like completely curveballing. Mm-hmm. And I haven't gotten to read Curse of Strahd, but you might be able to break it into shorter segments. So like remembering like a 2 hours worth segment. So like, you know, you go to Barovia and you have all these places to explore. Just envelop yourself in just those couple of chapters or pages or whatever it is. And then hope and pray that the players don't go left. And if they do go left, just throw werewolves at them and kill them.
That's
there you go.
I mean, that's kind of what the book tells you. Like, you don't want to discourage them from going to these places because you want them to explore as much as possible, but you also want to use techniques to steer them back into the direction that you want them to go. And that's why I said, like,
that's the hardest thing to do.
Maybe they fight something and then they just hear a whisper in their ear of like, run. And maybe they just realize like, oh shit, we better run. Something's telling us to run. You know what I mean? And they run. With
the knives theory, that will be a very strong utility that you can use to kind of keep all the players in the right directions. So that's really cool.
Fritz says if you want us to just go in a certain direction, just put a puppy or a goat or a frog. Really anything but a human in the direction you want us to go.
Oh yeah, there's a puppers in the doorway.
If you go to the barn, there will be an animal with horns waiting for you.
Find the goats. Find the goats. Save the world.
Can you imagine?
You can also put a twist on it too, that like if they're following the dog and then they go to pet it, then it becomes a skeleton dog, and then like roll initiative. It's just like, let's go.
Dude, that would be so wild.
Then they won't trust any of the dogs.
One thing
I would take that quest, he says. Save the goat.
Save the goat. Save the world. You would follow a goat into a room, you know, and you would come up and you would pet the goat. And then what would happen is you'd blink and you'd be in a graveyard petting like the gravestone of the goat.
Oh,
I would have so much fun with Curse of Strahd. Holy cow.
I'm telling you.
Dude, it doesn't matter where they go in the world, because you could just go, you blink, and now you're someplace completely
Yes! A mist surrounds you and now you're here. Wait, what? You know?
But I didn't take a card, man.
You're like, but I was just, what?
I didn't even know. And resurrect, I would cry for the goat and then bring it back.
Just necromancing the goat. Come back, Billy.
You like read the thing, died of like, unnatural causes.
Died of depression. You're like, no! Just pure sadness. Because you left.
Every couple of moments,
I was petting
you hear the faint bleat of a goat.
Meh. Meh.
Fritz, where's the goat?
And then you hear a bell. The sound of the bell. I'm begging you, can we legitimately get like a bell and like something that makes a squeaky door? So sound effects, I believe, are a must for Curse of Strahd.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's all about, like, people are either talking or it's silent for a moment because they're discussing something, like, and thinking, and then all of a sudden, like, a noise just breaks out of nowhere. Maybe it's maybe it is a bell.
We need coconuts.
It's a horse. The coconut.
We need coconuts. We need a bell. Oh man, yeah. Can we get a dinner plate that we can like destroy? Just be like, something happens, you just throw the dinner plate on the ground, and it just shatters. Dog, that would be so cool. Mushi will not be here because dinner plates are not edible.
And they are not dog safe.
No. That's why I got flip flops. Who's cleaning that up? We'll call.
No.
You know who to call.
Yeah. Ghostbusters!
I was hanging out with my friend and his dad, and he was trying to remember like the bad
that's a
boys
good
thing.
idea. Throw the dinner plate in a bag so you don't have to clean it up. But then the noise is muffled, and you don't get that like really high pitched chime.
I think a plastic
tiles, and then you throw it in there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Whatever. I just want to throw it away. Really bad.
You just want to make a mess.
That'd be so fun. Can we just Gallagher throughout the whole thing?
Just slap
watermelon stuff. Here's a kettle, baby. Bam.
Everyone's just wearing raincoats. Like, why are they wearing raincoats at the table? About the first watermelon I come out.
We have to rename it.
No, it's a pumpkin.
There we go.
It's not a pumpkin. It's all.
It's not Curse of Strahd. It's Curse of Gallagher. Everything is just smashing.
No, we're getting out of control here.
That's fair.
But yeah, I mean, out of all the characters, granted, we love Strahd because he's just a character all in himself. He's just the way his mannerisms are, the way they describe it and all that. But I think the Barovian people are the most interesting to me. Like, I can't wait to introduce those to the characters, and for the characters that have never played, get to like discover like what they're about and like the different things about them. They're really, really cool. I want to tell more, but I don't want to spoil anything. But it's the Barovians, to me, out of all the characters, are the coolest characters. They're the ones that they're the ones to really pay attention to, I think.
They'll give your focus on.
Yeah, I really think that a lot of to understand the whole world and how it works, I think you have to look at the people and understand the people.
I know what you're talking about, and I agree.
Right?
We had no idea when we went into our areas what any of the people were, and like we just had a murder hobo guy, and it was just like, oh well, this would have happened if you guys would have done that, and we had no idea.
See, like I hope that there's ways that I can make you guys like encourage my adventurers to go and talk to the town. Like I encourage that. If you guys are watching, I know Fritz is, Josh is here, you're here, like I'm encouraging you to talk to as many NPCs as possible.
Because I have read some of the book.
Which I'm really glad Josh is not, and I'm really glad he's really held off touching them for me.
It's good, dude.
And he's such a sweet man for it. Like because he hates horror stuff, so he's gonna come and sit at this table, and like I'm gonna pretty much play upon all the shit that I know he hates. Like loud noises happening, Like you're gonna see a very angry Josh at times. That then you're gonna in camera you'll see the eyes go from like anger to like, oh wait, this is just
To
a game.
fear.
To like, oh wait, okay, I'm not gonna get mad at her. This is what she's supposed to do.
What we need to do is, Ben, are you going to be playing with us?
Probably not if I'm prepping it.
Oh, that's fair.
I'll be co-DMing.
You gotta, you have to soundboard the whole time. So while you're DMing, Ben's over there soundboarding. It'll be
He's gonna
such a dope.
Ben is gonna be like a one-man band. He's gonna be having to like do the soundboard. Then he's gonna have to like turn around and like have to bring me something to make sure that it's there at a certain time. Like, if you can see my feet, they're moving at the same time as my hands. And then he's going to be like, yes, and we're going to have to do this. It's like a one-man band. He's going to,
It'll be fine.
All these different instruments that I'm going to need his help with. And he's going to know, because like I said, he's going to be helping me prep for it.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. That's
like,
really
there's
cool.
going to be smoke, like fog. There's going to be all
I
kinds of
heard
stuff.
dry ice was happening.
Ben and I are deciding whether dry ice or a fog machine is the best bet at this point, but there will be something used about like.
I mean, I'm sure we can get smoke from.
Well, it's
various-
Halloween season. I'm sure we can get a nice little tiny fog machine for not too much, like a little tiny mini one now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have all kinds of things you could buy at the wall.
Have you taken time to look at the Curse of Strahd DM screen?
I have it.
Well, that is something that you might want to look into.
Josh, can you grab that for me, please?
One thing that a lot
Yes,
of the
on that
adventures
shelf.
have is they came up with, so they have DM
And a bottle of
screens
water,
that
please.
are very relevant to the adventure themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing to kind of help you, like there are random tables and stuff that you have to like jump in between. Sometimes they'll be printed on the inside of the screen. So that might be a useful tool.
I'll grab
to
the
keep in
screen
mind.
right now so that we could take a look at that. And we can
Yes,
kinda see.
spoilers. I know everything.
It's not a spoiler.
You're right.
And then are we going to run like a quick little, like, what it would be like when you're preparing for this? I don't think there's any spoilers just running, like, a thing.
DM Danny.
I mean,
What? What did DM Danny say? Oh, no.
he says, what was that?
Because
Whoa, no.
he's about to correct me on something.
Oh, no.
Dry ice on the table makes the table wet. Fog might be better.
I vote for a wet table. But
That DM Danny is he is a very smart guy.
Fritz has never met.
My Vanna White over here.
All right, here. Let's crack this thing.
It's
open.
real. I love the color. Wait. Show the outside of it. I love because it's different than all the other DM screens that WotC makes, where
One-
it's full colored.
One
you
thing I
know?
want to do, just because I like this, is like I don't know this, but it's the same guy, and I think he's going werewolf. He's going something, and then there's the fate tellers down in the corners. But that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. See, in the inside, it shows you like different locations, which is this. This is going to be a great way of showing the people the multitude of areas that you can go to and visit in this map.
Sorry, I just read elevator trap.
Stop spoiling it for yourself.
I'm gonna close that section because it has Castle Ravenloft.
Yeah, it's the whole castle right there.
So, one thing. Okay, so one thing that I love. Oh, can I show this? I can show this. I'm showing this. So on the artwork for the castle, the isometric, I need more of that in my life. Can we just learn for all of us how to make isometric maps, please?
Wait, hold on. Danny wrote on there.
He hates ghosts. F that guy.
Buffy Vamp Strahd. Yeah, what?
But no, I love that. So I don't know how. Well, okay. So out of all of the things you have to hop in between, so you've got your little layout of Barovia, which has like a mountain. It has the village, a lake. various sections of wood.
Is Strahd like Gaston?
How do you?
Strahd, or Strahd, I mean,
He's more like Scar.
I see him being a little bit more on like like he's very slow talking. He's not. He's more laid back. He doesn't really worry about things. Like I don't know what his accent is probably going to be more Russian, more of like that deep Russian and kind of with like a feminine touch to it, you know, because he's a very fancy, beautiful man. So that's I picture him like what's his name from Interview with the Vampire. That's kind of what I imagine him like. Lestat. You know,
yeah.
Like very like you know, things just don't matter to him.
It's not like early Lestat either. It's like Lestat after he's been
yes, like way deep in the Anne Rice books where like Lestat just doesn't give a shit anymore because he's no
longer like trying to question things and all this.
Like he already is very well aware of everything that's going on and he is way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But like has accepted everything that has happened and will happen. And he's just laid back. And because he doesn't have to worry about things, like he does tend to be a little bit more on the kind of like just softer side of things unless you piss him off. And obviously when you like I want it to be when he's angry, you're like, "Oh my god, I'm terrified." You know what I mean? Like that's scary.
We're going to be fine. So, one thing to give you guys a bit of a review for the inside DM screen. It has the relevant.
Would be a sexy Lestat. See, Fritz knows what's up. He would be.
The inside of the screen gives you the entire layout for Castle Ravenloft, along with a random encounter table. So that's going to be useful. It'll also be nice if you're drawing the map on like a battle map or something of the like. Having it already in front of you the way it is will make it a lot easier. You'll still need the book to kind of like, you know, see, you know, in this section of this room it does blah blah blah. But that'll be nice to have. It also gives you the entire map of Barovia broken down into all of your DM needed like locations. So that's cool.
Yes.
It'll also give you random encounters split up by daytime, nighttime. It gives you.
That's another cool thing. I think that depending on how long the players stay in a certain area, certain things start to happen.
It also gives you the relevant page where you can find stuff about them. So that's great, along with the locations and the page location to find it. So that looks pretty useful. I love the fact that you can get the pages. So like,
can you believe
Hill.
That the freaking the DM screen, no, because the book is so vast that they even include the page to find it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just stats, it's where to find it in the book so that it's quick reference. Like, that's how you know there's so much detail in this.
And then my all-time favorite is it has Barovian names. So you've got male, female, and family names. So if you need to create a character at NPC on the fly, booyakasha. Here's Hans.
Again, because I do expect my players to talk to people in the town, that will be very helpful for me.
So.
Because sometimes I do tend to get a little stumped on thinking of a name for someone, and I end up doing something ridiculous, and then I regret it later on while I'm laying in bed. Like, oh, that was dumb.
One thing that
I should have done something like this.
One thing I hate, and I do this to myself all the time, is when the characters meet an NPC. And I just don't have the creative thought to come up with a really good name at the time. Mm-hmm. And I name them like Bob or Timmy or, you know, something that's
lackluster. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Larry. You're like, no, I mean, that's funny, but I wasn't trying to be funny at that moment, you know? Like,
I mean, if you guys go back and look at one of our other plays of the Essentials Kit at Butterskull Ranch, you guys ran into a little boy.
Yes.
And
I don't know. No, I don't even want to talk about it because Sylvia will get sad.
I know. I'm really excited to see how you guys kind of play on them. And that's, so, you know, the whole backstory thing and the knives, because I've played with Sydney so often, I know what gets you and I know what motivates your character and I know how to get some of these real honest like reactions, and
Yes.
that's something that I'm excited to see you on the other side making everyone else do those reactions.
Yes.
That's something that
Yes.
I'm stoked for.
Well, and that's kind of why I want the cleric to bring Umberto Feathersword, because I know his attachment to Umberto has to his wife, Esperanza, that I think being separated from her and bringing him into Barovia and trying to find his way back to his wife, I think Strahd would know that and would be able to read his mind about that and like see and like really play that, you know. And it would be easy to find a gypsy that he would somehow make look somewhat like Esperanza to try to tempt him to make him do something and like question himself and his love for his wife. I could see that kind of like scary, like maddening type of thing that would make Umberto, for his loyalty that he has to his wife, that would make him question himself. You know what I mean? And I think that would be a really cool thing to play on.
Just hearing Esperanza's like voice in the woods, I think would be hell.
For him, yeah, to be like, where is she? And like not being able to find her, I think would be...
Or seeing the silhouette of another tabaxi go into like a house or a room.
Because he's a trickster domain, arcane trickster rogue. So he's used to being the one to play the tricks. So imagine someone playing the tricks on him. Mm-hmm. And like, I know Josh as a human being would get frustrated. And so I could see him being even more frustrated as this Hispanic inspired tabaxi that's very loyal and like been by his wife's side since he was a kitten. You know what I mean? And like what it would do to him at that moment to like, to have the tables turned.
Yes.
You know, because Josh does play his character very much so in the trickster part of it, and who is the king of tricksters? Strahd. Strahd is like I think he's worse than Freddy Krueger. Because Freddy Krueger could kill you in your sleep, but so could Strahd. I mean, dude, there's all kinds of crazy things.
I think
in Strahd the tricks play you.
Strahd trick play you.
Like to me, like I feel like Strahd is worse than Freddy Krueger's character because he wants to play cat and mouse, and he's hoping within that game of cat and mouse he's gonna get what he wants and make his wishes come true and his desires come true. But if it doesn't, he's tired of you and then wants to get rid of you. You know, and like that whole like concept is like awesome, whereas like Freddy Krueger just wants to kill, you know? And that's not the appeal to Strahd. The appeal is like, let's play a game and maybe you'll actually give me what I want. And I love that. Joe, let your hair down, Cindy Michael.
Dude, my hair's getting rock stop.
We traded.
Joe, I've been categorizing my hair as it's been growing by like what kind of rock concerts I think I could like fit in at, and I think I'm at like I could do like Slipknot. Like I think this is good enough.
No, you're at Creed status right now.
Creed?
Yeah.
Not Slipknot. Slipknot's down just a little more, maybe.
No. Who was it? And I laugh at myself as the tears roll down. What song is that? Who is that? That is our beautiful
money. eyes up here.
What kind of rack is that chick holding?
Oh, what is that? Oh my god.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I hate you, man.
I've been laughing about this entire time.
Has it really been up there the whole time?
Not the whole time, but while she was laughing.
Oh my god.
That's why I was laughing so hard.
I can't see
that. Was pretty Mikey.
That was Snapchat.
That was
That's what I look like before I put my makeup on.
That's Michelle.
It's Misha. I've never told you about Michelle and Milkshake, and
no.
On one of these days I'll tell you about Milkshake.
All right.
Yeah.
But
let's see. So let's see. Let's go back to. I'm gonna put that over that. And that under that. Other prepping things. Are there? So I've DM'd quite a few times. Do you have like any questions? If you could ask a DM for advice on certain things, and this is also to the chat. You know, is there any advice that you'd like to get about anything in particular?
I guess if I was going to ask for advice, what, in your opinion, is something that you knew when you first started you kept forgetting, and that maybe it's something that I should remind myself to not forget?
Oh. So the
like, is it the pens that are used on the maps? Like, what is something that you always are like, dang it, I forgot that again?
This is my favorite because I too am plagued by not a very forgetful nature, but I feel like our lives are both haunted by gremlins who like to take things from us, so we forget things.
Yeah.
The one thing I think that I tend to find myself forgetting and then kicking myself in the butt about is scrap paper. That's honestly I've transitioned now where that's the first thing I look for. But having any kind of scrap paper helps me really DM in both like creating an NPC on the fly, tracking monster HPs or initiatives, things like that.
Okay. I could see that. I could see that being one of those things that you're like, damn it, I need a piece of paper to write this down as you subtract.
It's so essential, and sometimes like I forget to have like extra scratch paper.
Interesting. Okay.
One thing that's nice is like if you can find like a book or a binder or something that like you really enjoy writing in.
Like this?
Yeah, I use like you'll fill that thing out. It'll look like you're doing math and statistics, but
it's really
side
cool
note,
because it's graph paper.
I
too,
love
inside.
those. We got a handful of those last year at PAX.
Yeah, I mean it's graph paper. They were nice little DM gifts that were given out last year at PAX. They were fantastic.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I could find. And I think who is it? Home Depot has little pads of graph paper.
Yeah, Home Depot's got all that stuff.
Yeah.
They
got a bunch of really cool
I like
assets.
the graph paper because you can try to it helps you keep track of. You can write lines, you know what I mean? It's just easier to kind of have like little like charts of like, okay, this character's doing this, and then especially with multiple NPCs that they're fighting, you know, multiple monsters or something, and you kind of got to keep them separated, and you want it to look organized and not just little notes on a paper. Graph paper. The Cleric taught me that. The Cleric has always been like graph paper, and I'm like, you and your graph paper, and then I've learned why to appreciate the graph paper.
Ultimately, you'll also find that your writing style will evolve as you continue to DM more and more. Like, I use abbreviations in certain cases, and like if I were to look back on how I used to like write everything down, it was very kind of choppy in a weird setting, and now I have a way that I can like properly write things out. And
like, I don't even know what this is.
this is our wall.
Oh, is this the wall you built? So see, graph paper is great for setting up something that looks like it needs to be built.
Yeah, we built a wall, dude. Ben and I, it was fantastic. Josh is kicking it, dude. It was we built a wall. That's my wall.
Okay.
Following that.
Yes.
What about you guys in chat? Is there anything that you guys tend to forget when you DM, or even as a player? Is there something that you forget often?
Everyone's saying to bring baby wipes. Smack them with it to bring the big boy pants.
Big boy pants. Big boy pants.
Wipes, huh? Baby wipes.
Also good for cleaning battle mats.
Do baby wipes work well for cleaning battle maps?
That's what Charles uses.
Interesting. I haven't done that. I'll have to try that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have baby wipes. I have a baby.
Yes, you do. So that means you have an endless amount of baby wipes, probably.
Yeah.
I remember those days where you're like, oh, you need a baby wipe? I got a baby wipe. You're like, you want baby wipes? I got baby wipes. I got baby wipes for days. Costco baby wipes. Let's do this. You know what I mean?
Side note, Costco has really nice baby wipes, dude.
Big ass packs of them.
Yeah, they do. But at an affordable price.
They are. But yeah, no, I definitely, no paper baby wipes now is something I will be going to purchase at the store. Now, alcohol-free baby wipes, like should they be sensitive baby wipes or what kind of baby wipes? Have you noticed a difference in the baby wipes that you use? Let me know.
Does Neutrogena have baby wipes?
They have face wipes.
Oh, that's good enough. I mean, if you can wipe your face with it, you can wipe your butt with it.
But I'm not trying to wipe my butt, I'm trying to wipe my maps.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking that.
You know? I don't know.
Moving forward in your DMing, what are a couple things that have been have kind of
Fritz put up there too. A good one is that being able to keep track of like passive perception, AC, and HP. That is something that I haven't really thought about on the method of how I would like to keep track of that kind of stuff.
No, okay. So
since you're going to be playing with the same people, we can just make really good.
We can probably make our own character cards so it pops out to you.
Okay.
One thing that's honestly the hardest thing for me to this day is still if a character has a high passive perception, that's something that I always forget about. I always forget that players can have a passive perception of like 18.
Which can play against them.
True.
In the world of Strahd, it could be something that I can use to play against a character.
But in the same regards, like, you know, anything that is like a perception check, if their passive perception like meets or beats it, like sometimes like I just forget that, you know, oh, you guys don't really have to look for this. It's here. Like, you see this.
But the reason I say play against them, though, is that if someone who has a higher passive perception might think that they're smarter than certain people, so the person that's dumber in the group wouldn't really be affected by certain things, whereas Strahd would want to mess with the person that thinks they're more
I can see everything!
Yeah, I just think that that'd be a really cool thing, too. Like, yeah, that's cool. You think that's going to help you. It might actually work against you.
That's fair.
So, I mean, and that's that again, that's that horror movie aspect to it where you think you got it and you don't. Like The Hills Have Eyes. These guys that are military think that they're on top of it because they've got these guns and they're military, so they must be smarter than anybody else, when in reality there's these monsters in the freaking desert that just start messing them up, you know what I mean? And to me, that is scary. That's unknown.
That's fair.
Playing against the weaknesses.
Yeah, sounds better. 18, right? Oh, yeah, totally. Max perception.
You know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Have you watched any, like, Strahd gameplay or anything like that?
Yeah, I have.
Do you think that you're going to kind of... I mean, what...
I mean, there's people out there that have played that I'm not going to mention that are extraordinary DMs that have ran this game that, like, they're amazing. But I like to think that if I come well prepared and with the help of Ben, if I tell him, like, this is what I imagine, that he and I could come up with something that's going to make that happen and give that effect even to the viewer, I think that would be great. Like, I'd like to try to play out as much of a horror movie as I can.
Okay.
You know, maybe that's why I need the baby wipes. Gotta be cleaning up that blood. It's all and just blood splatters on the
It's
map.
all what now? Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Let's... Sorry, I'm moving things.
So, should I open it up and we explain what it is? It's like tarot cards. So think of tarot cards telling you your fate, right? Same concept. The Taraka, or whatever they're called, is necessarily like a tarot deck of D&D's own making.
Yes.
So they use the same concept as like a tarot reading would, where the cards get laid out a certain way. I don't know if Ben has the picture of this, but there is 1, 2, 3, I think it's 5 cards that get laid out a certain way, like you would a tarot card. Because at one point you will be coming across an oracle type of character that will want to read to you maybe what your future tells you. And as a DM, you would do this pre-game. You would do this during your preparation. You wouldn't, I mean, you could do it through the game, but I would say that's probably for a more well-seasoned Strahd DM that has already ran the game. I would say, I don't know, maybe you're really good, so after one time it does, you remember it. But I would say if you ran it a couple times, it's safe to probably just do an on-site reading and then being able to run the game. For me,
I plan on doing this like off-rip. Like this is a part of the introduction of how you get to Barovia.
Yes.
That's my plan.
Well, the thing is that like you can have the cards pre-done and then you set them up on the top of the deck to be to set out in front of the players. And I kind of would rather do something like that. I know you're Mr. Improv, okay?
Yeah.
And like I know there's going to be some improving that's going to go down. Well, spoiler alert. It's not a spoiler alert because I won't tell you. But
we will read because
that's what it says. It tells you that it gives you options in the book. Like you can do it like this, or if it's your first time running it, you could do it like this. And because it is my first time, I want to be well prepared for I'm going to be ready. What does it say?
Fritz, shut your dirty mouth, Ben. Shit.
What did you say,
Are we
man?
on mature filters?
I was asking, was asking if he was going to be playing Gaston, because if he is, he would have to be a human or an elf to do that. And the 2 races that he will not play
Are humans or elves?
Yeah.
What about like a tiefling Gaston?
Gaston?
Is there a what?
A dwarf?
There's got to be a gnome Gaston.
That'd be funny. Alternate world Gaston with short man syndrome.
Can you please sing that song in the gnome voice?
What's that?
Gaston song in the gnome voice.
That's so awful.
That's up, Gaston.
No one talks like Gaston.
Took cheap shots of Gaston. No one's incredibly strong like Gaston.
As a specimen, yes, I'm intimidating. My what a guy, that Gaston.
Like Gaston.
That's great.
But
So
yes.
let's actually. I would like to legitimately do one of the readings because it is cool. It is fun.
Yeah,
I want to read. I want to read for
let me-
you. Can I do that?
Well, let me open it up for you. So let's say we are reading My Fate in here. Okay, so just like you would do with a tarot deck, you would separate the high deck, right? Is that what they call it? The high.
So I'm gonna use big words. So there's the major arcana and the minor arcana.
Oh, you're gonna refer to the actual tarot terms. Well, what are they called in the world of
high deck?
Strahd?
There's the high deck and then the commons deck.
Okay.
So the high
When you're
deck
reading.
or the major arcana are all signified by a crown in the top corner. There are 14 of these, and the artwork on these cards are phenomenal.
Oh, they're so pretty. The artwork in this book in general is so nice.
The one thing that I will say is like the card themselves, like they'll be fine. The quality on these cards aren't very intense. Like they're like quite a bit weaker than like a bicycle playing card, which I would have preferred a little more like stronger card stock or like a better film over it.
We do apologize, guys. There's some construction apparently going on outside, so
Gotta finish it up before the end of the season.
Yeah, if you
Before
guys hear any
frost
noises,
over.
we apologize. It's construction going on literally right next door. That might actually make the whole studio rumble.
This is
So-
great. But the artwork, I will say, the artist did a fantastic job, like putting together the cards. They are beautiful.
I mean, it feels just like a regular like bicycle card playing deck is what it feels like. You know, it's just
it's a little. To me, it's a little less. But I'm a card guy. You know, I pay attention to my cards.
they're smooth. They don't have the ridges like the bicycle does. Like you know how it's got like those little like imprints on one side.
Yeah.
It's all smooth.
So you'll want to be careful around any kind of liquids. These cards will pick those up super quick and then pop them. Anyway, so you've got your high cards or your major arcana. You're going to separate these from the rest of the deck. You'll set these over to the side.
Which are 14 or 16?
14 cards. The rest of these you've got are your minor arcana or the commons deck is what they refer to it.
You can purchase these cards from any game store,
Just
internet.
about every game store has one of these.
Yeah, at one time they were a little difficult to get a hold of, but now they've had them in print and they're really popular. So it's easy to get them.
The commons deck, they are split into 4 different suits. I forgot what order I just put them in. But again, they're signaled by the icon in the top corner. And then again, like the artwork of these things are so freaking cool.
What are you laughing about?
It's
What's
just
so made
the
you laugh?
miser, the anarchist, the necromancer, and a dictator. Like I love them, dude. They're so cool.
There's a cartoon. I can't put my finger on what it reminds me of. Let me see. It reminds me of, it was like this cartoon in the 90s that came out, and it kind of reminds me of that same artwork and style. I want to say We're Back, the dinosaur one, where like the dinosaurs become like possessed by the guy, like some like bad guy, and like they go like get the green eyes.
Yeah.
It doesn't the artwork kind of remind you a little bit similar to like the style of that cartoon?
Throwback.
Yeah, that is a throwback.
So also
I totally like age myself
the cartoons used to.
and call myself out every time I say some sort of show that I'm comparing something to.
Now,
You're welcome.
This deck of cards is not necessary to do the reading. You can use a standard deck of cards. You will want to make sure you have both jokers in it. But there's a little blip in the book that tells you how to run this with a standard deck of cards.
It gives you the translation for each card. And I mean, look at how many options of where things are and where you go. Like, that's how many options you get in this book.
Oh yeah, so we're just gonna go. Hello, adventurer. I am Vicinci. I am a fortune teller. May I do a reading? You have a particular face, a face of death.
Who am I playing right now?
I don't. Your name is Bert. See, that's what I'm talking about. When you don't have like a list of good names. And you come up with just Garbo?
You just go refer to the Muppets.
Bert is an amazing Muppet. Get out of here, dude.
Look, I'm here to go find my brother Ernie. What am I doing here, old lady?
So what I want you to do, what I need you to do, adventurer, is shuffle the cards to your heart's content. My hands, they shake with anticipation.
My Muppet hands, I'll try to shuffle the decks if I can.
But yeah, please shuffle the cards.
I'm
looking at myself in our preview thing, and my hands are like this, and I'm like, who's that doing that? Oh, that's me. That's me just throwing my hands up and down.
Don't worry, we always
Is that
have
good?
this beauty.
You like this? This is fine? Okay. I would like you to...
What happened to your voice, lady?
I would like you to take the top card and place it here. No, not the top
Yeah,
half.
put it
of the
over his
deck.
face. Can you put it over like his actual
I
face?
had it for a while.
Take just the top card and place it here. Do you like this card? This card? Do you like this card?
Yes.
Place it here. Do you like this one?
Yes.
Place it here. Good, I'm getting this out of here. Now shuffle these. Ooh, mysterious. Your fortune, I can feel your fortune just already in these cards. The pain and suffering and pleasant rewardings. Don't spend all day. Oh no, there they are done. Do you like this card?
No.
You don't. I will take it. Do you like this card?
Yes.
Place it here. Do you like this card?
Those top two seem fishy to me.
You want this one? You don't want this one either?
No.
Do you want this one?
Yes.
Place it in the middle. Ooh, I'll take these. Now, the next element is we are going to do the reading. So in the book, this is fantastic. In the book, each one of these cards is going to do a segment. Like it's going to place either a person, place, or thing somewhere in the world of Barovia. Now, the characters aren't going to know exactly what all this means. However, it gives you a bit of the reading, and you can kind of incorporate the reading into the background of the character to kind of make it enticing and kind of fun, and at the same time give them little hints and clues of what things may be. So the first card, go ahead and flip that over.
Hold on. Fritz, the only reason I would say yes to a Warforge, even at this point, is because I actually have some knowledge of a Warforge, and I know the background of it. So yes, I think I would be okay with something like that. Just because of the fact that you could be brought to Strahd from anywhere. It's literally a mist.
Eberron.
I mean, yeah, imagine an Eberron character's doing something in Eberron and a mist just intakes him at some point and he's like, what the hell? I mean, isn't that the whole purpose behind it? It would be like, it's a mist that just surrounds you and takes you away, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have any regard of who you are and where you're from. It's there. A Warforge would be a great Gaston. That actually is pretty impressive.
I love Gaston.
Fritz says dibs.
Okay. Shall we continue our reading?
Yes, please.
Please flip over this card and show it to the viewers. This card tells of history, knowledge of the ancient will. It will help you better understand an enemy. What did you get? So
5-star.
So 5-star.
Elementalist. Ooh, it's a really cool looking drawing too.
This history, the knowledge of this ancient evil, you will find a treasure hidden in a small castle beneath a mountain guarded by amber giants. Flip this card.
This one is the rogue.
This card tells of a powerful force of good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. This is the spades, not glyphs. Don't worry. I just need to remember that I like tomatoes.
You're getting old, lady.
You're getting old. What you seek lies at the crossroad of life and death, among the buried dead. This card here, flip it over. This card is a power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight.
Oh, well, there's 5 swords. The Myrmidon?
Show. How do you say it?
Myrmidon? I don't know. How do you say that?
Myrmidon?
Myrmidon? Myrmidon? What is a Myrmidon?
It's a type of fighter.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's showing a picture of a fighter.
Look for a den of wolves in the hills overlooking a mountain lake. The treasure belongs to the Mother of Night.
The Mother of Night?
Wah! This card here. This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness.
Oh, this looks like a crown, and it says the Seer, and it's this old man with a bunch of eyeballs on the top of his head. I mean, the artwork on this is incredible.
Look for a dusk elf living among the vicinity. He has suffered a great loss and is haunted by dark dreams. Help him, and he will help you in return. And finally, this card here. This is for your enemy, a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him.
It is a crown, and it's a high deck, right?
Yeah.
It's mists, but it looks like a graveyard, misty graveyard, from like the view of like outside of the fence, like you're looking into it from the outside side of the fence.
Alas, the most troublesome of cards. I cannot see where your enemy is.
Oh, that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I wasn't ready for that. I cannot see where the evil lurks.
And what's terrifying, not being able to see and know where it's coming from.
I'm sorry, but I can
there.
offer you no clues as to where your enemy resides.
Woo!
I love this. This is fun. As the DM, so each of the readings in the book will tell you the locations verbatim. And it's really fun for the players to kind of try to decipher what these things kind of mean. And it kind of gives them, as they explore Barovia, they get to see like, oh, here's the Hill of Stars. Well, there was a reading. It said something about a hill. Maybe, an item that we seek is here, And like getting the mists, that sucks. But you chose this one.
I did. I said scrap 2 of them. Give me that one.
Like, I don't like this one or that one. I want this one. So Strahd is wherever it's
wherever
the place
you would
that
have decided to put them. That's pretty cool. I mean, the amount of options that they give you of what clues to give, I think, is pretty freaking amazing. That's a lot.
Sorry.
Stop reading it. Give it to me.
Great. That's great. The mist card is the best card. That is, and the seer is crazy. It looks like
what I missed.
Did you unmute that so that everyone could hear you?
Womp 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 womp.
No, says Bane.
So that's cool. That's really fun. I'm really excited to kind of encounter the Fortune Seeker.
Yes.
And like you were saying before, kind of what we did, you don't have to have the players do. You can stack the deck so that, like, in a fashion that makes the best sense for you. Mm-hmm. And then, she goes, well, let me tell you where these artifacts of great power are. Ah, okay. And I mean, in those cases, like, you won't have to flip through the book, and you've got it all scripted for you. And
Right.
So, I think going your way might be a better method.
I think if I had a memory that would allow me to remember all the different places and all the different options, then I could do that in front of everybody and plan out the game easily, like on the spot. But because this is my first time running it, it's the first story that I've ever picked up a book and been like, all right, let's do this. That, like, I just feel more comfortable with the pre-ran. Mm-hmm. And and I have my ideas of how I'm gonna like present the cards so that it still feels genuine and it still feels natural. You know what I mean? And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of see. Well, I mean, since I don't know where the locations of everything is, it'll be very exciting for me when you give me the riddle to try and decipher it later on in the adventure.
Yeah, because I know Fritz is already. Did Fritz run the game himself, or did he read the book? Is what you said.
No, he didn't do either. He did the Adventure League modules.
Oh, he did the Adventure League modules, so he knows the Adventures League aspect of the story, which still kind of tells you slightly the story. And he's, nope, he says.
Nope.
So I mean, I know some of you guys have read it, some of the stuff, and have an idea of the story. But I'm hoping that in the actual moment that maybe the way I present it to you guys, nothing. It was the first book I ever bought after the starter set, and I read the first 5 pages and was like, no, fuck this, I want to play it, not run. It's going to be put away. Yeah, it's kind of what happened with the Cleric too. He bought it because I wanted it, and of course he wanted it, and then he's like, I'm not reading it because I don't want to run it. If I have to, I will. But then I was like, I want to run it, and he's like, okay, cool. I don't have to read it then.
You need to play.
Yeah, I get to play because he reads everything. I mean, if he read it, he'd already be done with it and be like, all right, let's run it tomorrow. And for me, it's like, it's taken me almost a whole year to really even like mentally prepare myself to want to even really dig into the book because it is so overwhelming with so much. But it's a good enough story to keep me locked in, to want to keep going. So it just sucks there's no like audiobook that I could just play in the background while it reads it to me. I can multitask.
Technically, you could do text to speak on your phone, pull it up on D&D Beyond, and then just be like, Chapter 4. Refer to reference appendix D7 for blah 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 parentheses. And then it began. The man, he sat upon the stone.
Yes, Fritz, I hope to be as fresh and exciting and surprising as possible. I was a kid who grew up reading the How to Tell Scary Stories in the Dark. And so, like, I was always that kid that was like, let's have a summer party and let's play this game. Now, I don't know if you remember at the back of the book, I don't believe it was the first one. I believe it was the second one. It had like throw a party and you can play a game with your friends and scare them. Where like you peel.
I'm too young for this.
Okay, so you peel like it's simple. It's like what you've seen at Halloween parties and they explained it in the book on how to prepare it. So like you do it in the dark or you put it in a box where people could put their hand in and not see it. But like you would get like a bowl of grapes. And you peel the grapes and you like tell a story like, oh, those are the eyes of a witch. And so like you put your hands in there or like the eyes of a child or something, right? Then you would have the spaghetti and you'd be like the wet hair of a witch. And they'd be like, ah! Like everyone's screaming as they're touching stuff. And so like I'm
into Strahd, but if you start pulling out mystery boxes and you're like, this is the intestines of a goat.
No. I end up getting crucified by Fritz if I brought the intestines of a goat.
Manicotti with like all this. I won't stick my hand in there, dude.
No. But
like I'm down, but that's cool. I didn't know that they had a thing like that.
Yeah, and so like as a kid, that's kind of what my thing was. Like I always enjoyed doing that kind of stuff. And so I kind of want to bring that same kind of aspect to the table. Like I want to be able to somehow not necessarily like make you guys touch things to like get that sense freaked out, but I want to bring other things that like heighten your senses. Like I want to be able like asking you like, well, what do you smell? And have you describe it so that it freaks you out, because then it allows you to go into your own head and kind of like describe to me something foul. Then now you're thinking about it.
I smell the sweet, sweet smell of oregano. That's what I'm gonna just default to. What do you see? Oregano.
Yeah, and then you're gonna grab something and it's totally not oregano.
It's not oregano.
You know, like I want to be able to have you guys also kind of describe certain things that then make you get into your own head. You know, and then now you're thinking about like you can personally visualize what it is because you just made it up. You know, and now you're about to confront something.
I'll be fine.
And it makes it scary. Yeah.
Totally
now I know you're scared.
Elf guts, we're good to go. No goat intestines.
But yeah, no goat intestines, dude. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about this. I think Halloween should be year round. I think that this is a way to bring that to the table. I have a module that if for some reason we go in through the holidays while we play this game, which I expect to, we can do a side game that it was something I found on the DM's Guild. That was a CCC that was about, like pretty much Christmas in Barovia, I believe is what the name of it was.
Yeah.
So
that would be fun.
I think that would be really fun to kind of be like, oh, side tale, it's Christmas time, and we're gonna run this little side story, and this is how your characters are feeling, knowing that they're not home for Christmas, and they're stuck in this damn forsaken place with these terrible people, and maybe only a handful that they like.
That's cool.
And their teammates who that's all they got, but everybody's sad. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm curious to see, like, you know, who my team, or like who the party is gonna consist of, and all the players.
well, spoiler alert: Fritz is obviously going to be coming in.
Fritz is coming to play.
Oh yeah, Fritz.
Hey!
You didn't know that by what's being said?
I can't see that well.
Oh my god.
Bro, I just went and got glasses upgraded. Go get glasses.
Don't tell me this is my life, Ben.
But yes, Fritz is coming to play, and I believe Fritz's wife is going to be playing with us too.
Oh, I met her. I haven't met Fritz. I like your wife, Fritz. She's very nice.
You've never met Fritz?
No.
Yes, you have. You
No, I
probably
haven't.
just didn't realize that you met him.
Nope.
He was there with his wife when they came by at PAX.
Yeah, we gave her a
Where
ride
was I
home.
at PAX?
The same place that we were all.
I wasn't. Well, then why did I meet Fritz?
No, he was manning the counter with the ukulele at PAX. Oh, we were all over there waiting for.
But when you were DMing on the other side,
Where was I? At a table the whole time.
I thought you were with us.
No,
Oh.
I wasn't with you guys ever.
Oh no, yeah, he's confirming that he has never met you.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
All right, well, okay, well that will be changing soon.
I did not hide from you at Ren Fair. In any case.
No, what happened was the one time you took off to go to the privy.
Oh, was it? It probably
It was during a privy break, and he came by and you were gone.
That's fair.
I think you went to the privy, and I think you went to go get food.
I probably, yeah. I ate
Mm-hmm.
once or twice.
Yeah, no, he was gone doing that.
Well, that's exciting.
But,
Cool.
yeah,
I don't know if Fritz is
so-
gonna play.
So that's Fritz,
So me, Fritz.
Wifey, you, the Cleric.
Good table.
That's a pretty solid table.
4. We might have a 5th, all depending. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, I met Chris. Just
Gave her a lift
she's
home.
cool.
What?
I gave her a lift home.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah.
spent some time with Chris. Okay,
Yeah.
so that works. But there you go.
We have to get our chat going so that. like, we
Yeah,
can
we'll
start
have to
building
get
his
that started
backstory.
because you guys will have to get your story created with your characters, and I mean, it's really cool because in the book, let's say you are like the group is either with a fraction or a faction. Jesus Christ, a faction or individual players are with certain factions. There's ways that your game gets started due to that can dictate how you get brought into Barovia.
Okay.
It could be, I mean, there's so many different things that could be what brings you to Barovia.
I think I'm gonna build the preacher. My priest in training.
Well, we got a guest on. We'll have the preacher. Yeah, have you ever watched the show The Preacher?
Nope.
Oh.
Do you remember Dragonheart, the bard monk from that?
Yeah.
Who could do that?
You should watch The Preacher. He's
I
kind
would-
of like,
I would also.
that preacher would actually be really great
Who is?
for Barovia.
Oh my gosh, who's the? I'm blanking on his name. The guy,
It is Fritz.
The guy with the chainsaw hand.
Oh, that's
The
from
Necronomicon.
yeah.
Who's the name of the guy?
Oh my god, dude. I don't know. My ex-husband was all about this guy. It's the Evil Dead guy.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. I can
don't
see his
remember
face.
I don't remember the character's name. Ash. Thank you.
Ash. There
Thank
you go.
you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I might build Ash.
Ah.
That would be fun to play in Barovia.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ash vs. Evil Dead? Have you seen his TV show?
He would probably be one of the ones that like Strahd would try to mess with, but it wouldn't work, and so he'd kind of be like, "I'm just gonna just throw shit at you."
I think I could role play Ash.
Like
well enough.
Ash would be the reason why you guys would constantly be running into shit to have to fight.
And I would always have one-liners for every situation
Like that,
in every
that
regard.
would be that to fit well with that narrative. Like Ash would be the reason why like constant werewolves and
I would
vampires
build
are
him. I
attacking
would
you
build him where
guys.
he's like trying to find the book of like ultimate
Prince,
evil.
I'm here for you, boo. But yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm really excited.
Me too.
I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to talk about it, but like my brain's like turning, and you know, there's so much to that I could talk about. I mean, there's so much to think about and so much.
Do we have any kind of time frame on when this might like actually happen?
We are going to make sure that we solidify. I believe Monday evenings might be the day that we're going with, but once I start this group, depending on how everyone comes together, is probably when we will start this, because we'll probably be starting this right before we go back to Critless in Seattle, which we will be changing the complete storyline, which was taking place in Chult and then was going to make its way somehow through the Underdark or something like that. Like, we were going to touch on all that, but the Cleric is working on an amazing storyline. We're going to focus a little bit more on the Feather Swords, and we're going to take it back to where the Feather Swords began before they were in Chult, and take them all the way back into, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to say where we're actually going to
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
Where we're going?
Don't say it.
It's a really cool place. It's not very popular. And I think it'll be really good for where society is right now.
The Feather Swords came from Spelljammer.
No, we didn't.
The
But
Feather
I think,
Swords.
you know what? I don't want to be mysterious. We are going to be bringing back Mystica. We want to bring the world of Mystica back, which is like pretty much a very Aztec influenced place. It's got all those. It's kind of like Chult, where it's got that very Spanish flair to it, with the old Aztec style stones and gods. A lot of tabaxis originate from Mystica, and for me, I pronounce it with Spanish vowels. That's how I imagine the world of Mystica, and I think bringing that world back to life in a world where right now, like, everyone's revamping all these other places, like Eberron's coming back. People are obviously, now we're going into Baldur's Gate, into Hell and stuff, and people are touching on that, and no one is, and the Underdark is one of those off and on places, and Mystica's like on the other opposite end of the world from like Chult too, is I think what makes it really cool, you know, because it's not jungle heavy based, but kinda, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's very Aztec, you know, it's that same feel where it's temples and stuff like that, and just yeah, I mean, it's a really cool place, and Josh has done a lot of reading. I mean, he's got every single book that's ever touched on it. He's got back stock of like digitals of magazines that were done like back in the late 80s that talk about it when they first brought Mystica into the world, when it was still, before it was even Wizards of the Coast. So Josh has done a lot of research to kind of help bring that story and give it a slightly modernized twist to bring it to life for us. I think being able to have a storyline of the Feather Swords and what their backstory is, I think is going to be really, really interesting and really fun to explore.
I can dig it.
Yeah. So it seems like we are getting later in the day, and I think it is time for our confessions.
Yes. Confessions.
I have a confession.
Do you?
I do. I actually have a confession prepared.
I do too. Yeah.
You ready?
You start off the confession.
Okay, I will. Normally it's you who starts it off. So I'd like to confess that this weekend I was invited somewhere, and it was the first time that I got to go to this.
Oh no.
I was invited to a Grambling festival.
Yeah.
And it is a famous Grambling festival.
It's an annual festival.
It is the what is it? The culinary competition.
It is the Grambling family annual cook-off.
The cook-off.
Yes, this is for the trophy, the best chef in the family. That's what you.
No, leave that up, Ben. Leave that up. So I want to explain what that is. What are we looking at here?
That's me drinking water.
No, this is you drinking White Claw out of your trophy.
The trophy is super dirty.
Yes, it was super dirty.
So
and like it was funny because there were some intoxicated family members that were like, just drink out of it, and everyone's like, it's crusty.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, then don't drink out of it. He's like, I know. So, but he had a drink out of it, and he went ahead and put his drink inside of the cup. But there were a lot of delicious dishes. It was I've never been to any of your events. But if they are ever that difficult, like you guys are tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you make, Mikey, that made you win?
So okay, well yeah, spoiler. So I won.
That's why you're drinking out of the first place gauntlet.
I won first place. I made enchiladas.
Yeah. Now he made enchiladas. First off, my 9-year-old son hates like melted cheese unless it's on pizza. Like hates melted cheese. I don't know. My child's weird.
And like he's not a huge fan of onions or
no.
There's jalapeno in there.
Yeah. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff. He ate the whole thing, told Mikey it was delicious, and then he's walking away from Mikey, and I'm like, Ezekiel, did you know that was a vegetarian enchilada? And he like literally stops and slowly turns, and he's just jaw dropped. And I'm like, oh, and let me top that up for you, Zeke. It's made with wheat tortillas. He's like, what? And he looks over at Mikey, and he's like, no. And Mikey's like, yes. He's like, and he just walks off. But, I mean, I can't get that kid to eat anything. And Mikey got him to eat that. And there was, I mean, no, you would have never known that it was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Or vegan.
It was vegetarian.
Or vegetarian, because vegan would have no cheese, right?
Correct.
Okay. Vegetarian, let me take that back. So vegetarian enchilada. And I mean, now I will, in confession, confess what I voted for.
What'd you vote for?
Did not vote for your enchiladas.
What'd you vote for?
I voted for your auntie's cauliflower bag.
It was so good.
Oh my God, her cauliflower bag.
so...
I told her, I was like, I'm going to be honest, I voted for you.
Yeah, that was my Aunt Teresa. She was the one that made the cauliflower bake. It was gluten-free, had bacon in it. It was delicious.
Everything was delicious, but this bake, like, there was only so much left on the platter that I knew I had to I only could scoop up a little bit because everybody's just grabbing like scoops of it, and I wanted Zeke to have some because I knew he would love it because he loves cauliflower. But I was like, if I could have, I would have taken that whole tray and finished it off. Like it was so
I had to keep
good.
going back and forth to the cauliflower bake because I was like, is this what I'm going to vote for? Is this?
The ribs were tender. They just melted in your mouth.
The ribs. I mean, so the dishes we had, there was a cauliflower bake. We had barbecue ribs. We had lamb shank steak. We had enchiladas. We had meatballs with marinara. We had a farro salad. We had, oh gosh, what else did we have?
What was that salad your cousin made?
That was the farro salad.
Yeah, she was really proud of that.
There was,
that
I don't know what it was, but it was like a slice of sweet potato with a pear or something on it.
That was Zeke's favorite. No, it was apples.
It was apple. That thing was tasty.
I don't remember. That was your the auntie that made that one was the which was the one that was sitting on this side of me? Lisa. Yeah. That auntie Lisa. She made that one.
That one was
and
tasty.
Zeke, because first I thought it was yams. And she was like, it's sweet potato. And Zeke's like, sweet potato? Even more excited about it. He gets that from me. I love sweet potato. And so my mother-in-law makes it every year. Everyone else in the house hates it. She won't even eat it, but she makes it with the marshmallows on there for me, and I love it. But anyways, the one that your auntie made was freaking. It had like pecans on it.
Yeah.
I'm drooling. With like this like brown sugary sauce of some sort.
It was very there was a like
it was like a sweet sauce, but not like overly sweet.
No, and there was barely any sauce.
Barely.
It was very dominantly like.
And you looked at it and you thought it was gonna like crunch in your mouth, like you thought maybe it was a little undercooked the way it looked, and then you bite into it and it's like soft.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. Your mom's meatballs, bro.
Yeah.
What is her secret? She put some sort of wine in there, huh?
No, I can't tell you. I know how to make my mom's secret.
There was something in there, like a wine or something in there.
I can't tell you anything.
Is it beer? Is it wine?
I can't tell you. So
whiskey? Like there was something in there that I could taste that was alcoholic, but it was like perfectly paired with it.
I voted for the meatballs because of the depthness in the sauce was so much. There were so many levels to that freaking sauce, and I love it. And
oh, dude, your Auntie Diane's lamb chops.
Those are good.
Oh my god, that was
good.
some fancy like meat that went in my mouth that day.
Yeah, I was surprised that she was doing that. Like,
so not just donated 3 community gift chests. This is brand new, and you just gave us a follow. So it's
who's that?
My buddy Knot.
Hey!
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Knot. I really appreciate that.
I'm giving out the Prime membership, the gifts out to the community. If you guys want them for the Dauntless Gunslinger bundles, grab them up right now.
Oh, that's right. If you guys have Twitch Prime, you are more than welcome to gift out things. They're doing this new advertisement for it where you get 3 a month to gift out to any random people within any community that you follow. But I believe you are only, as one person, allowed 3 gifts within the month to give out. So, like, I have the Dauntless, the Gunslingers package. Because I have the Twitch Prime, like, whatever you have in your loot, you gift out in your loot. So there's other things. Besides Dauntless, there's other stuff available on there.
There's some pretty rad stuff.
Yeah, depending on the games that you play. And I believe that is one of the new advertisements that Twitch is doing alongside with Twitch Prime. I think it's really cool. I can't wait to put it to use, honestly, and try it out when I'm watching Wubby and see how that works. Yeah.
Time to get your wub on.
I gotta get my wub on. Yeah. That's all about. It's all about watching. It's like, it's the generation of ADD and ADHD. Like, you got to be doing something, and there's got to be more movement going on. It's got to, it's got to constantly be moving and multiple fucking information coming in for me to be satisfied, or else I feel like my world is falling apart because I can hear myself too much.
I am.
Is that part of the confession now?
That is the whole confession. But no, thank you. Yeah, I was happy you could make it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
My son had an amazing time. He made a new friend.
Yep. Yes.
New friends.
I've got a really awesome family. I'm very blessed to have them. And yeah, I'm glad you're able to make it. I was sad Josh wasn't able to make it. Busy working on the farm, doing his thing.
October 12th.
October 12th it's the Lego pumpkin carving, like
Lego competition, pumpkin carving, birthday celebrating Grammy extravaganza.
we're gonna make good food. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna carve pumpkins with all the little ones, and it's a Lego competition,
which I think Zeke's gonna kill it.
So the Lego competition is it's a little silly. Like, it's as much of a competition it is. It's not really a competition.
No.
You get the cute little Lego sets, and the rules are simple. Whoever completes their Lego kit first wins.
Zeke's gonna kill you.
So you just gotta build your thing as fast as you can, and then try to win. But all the Lego things we've gotten are really great. I've got some really awesome like Star Wars stuff, and Lego has been slaying it with the little packages and things.
Yeah, I love when they do that. You got to look out for the Lego movie ones. They're really cute. They have some adorable ones to get. Yeah.
So yeah,
well, besides our wonderful Cleric who has his birthday on Halloween, you have like what, 4 family
5 or
members, like
6.
something like that all also share a birthday in the month of October.
Yeah. So we it's
spread
a loose,
out too.
It's a loose celebration with all of our October birthday guys, and then I mean we'll still celebrate like the day of with everybody, and like we'll go hard. But this is our family kind of just getting together, and we keep it tame. Very tame family.
Yeah, for sure. Keep it tame.
Very tame. So,
dude.
Yeah.
Look at you get set free in the den of the lionesses. They will either eat you alive, or they will be the most funnest pack of lionesses that you ever hung out with. And they're like, let's go for a hunt together. You get to partake in the festivities of the hunt. And to be a part of the hunt was so much fun.
Because we ended up hanging out for a while. And the conversations we spoke about were everything from like the future of humanity to like yogurt cultures and probiotics.
To like ancient fucking herbal cures and shit like that.
Yeah, women's rights back in like the 1800s. I mean, we went through we like the times of the Crusades, and conversation gets a little.
And they are very open-minded women. I love it. Like they are definitely very, like they have their opinions, and they're very insightful opinions. And I really enjoyed hanging out with your family.
Fritz just gave you the 3 gifts. Sorry.
Oh, Fritz did. Thanks,
Thank you,
Fritz. You're so nice. This guy, dude.
I don't know if you noticed, but we listen to smooth jazz while we do that whole thing.
Did we?
Yeah.
I thought there was country music playing at one point.
No, I think we were just. I don't remember. I think one of us was just being.
And it was funny because at one point, one of your aunties was like, "Why is there country music playing?" I was dying. Because I'm not gonna lie, they are Caucasian women, so I was not surprised that there was country music playing. But then when I heard, I think it was Lisa. I think it's what she's like. Why are we playing country music?
Yes.
I want to say it was Lisa. I can't. One of them said something. They're like, I think because they said that. I think Diane wanted something different, so we put on country music. I think is what the story was. I can't remember who was saying what, but I just remember that was the conversation.
We listened to a lot of death metal, and we listen to a lot of rock in the family.
All right, so before we wrap it up, Mikey,
Yeah.
I gotta ask.
Okay.
Do you have any confessions? I mean, you have things to confess, like you forgot diapers.
That's just normal. That's just normal stuff.
That's not sinful. That's just first time Papa forgetting.
Yeah. Oh, we're taking the baby today. Okay, I think I got everything. Oh, not those diapers. I need to put some new diapers in the car because I have diapers in the car, but she's just outgrown them.
Yeah.
So I just need.
The woes of being a parent.
It's
like being a doggy parent and being like, my dog just pooped and I didn't bring any doggy bags. And then you're like, oh no.
Oh, because the doggy bags that I do have just won't collect all the poop.
Yeah, because it's when he was a puppy, he or she was a puppy, and so now they're like a full grown.
Now they're dropping hammers in the backyard.
Yeah, and like this little tiny bag that I have in my
eco-friendly
console.
tiny bag just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, great comparison. It's exactly the same thing.
You have to get those industrial heavy-duty, black trash bags to pick up those hammers.
Hey, parent woes are parent woes. It doesn't matter what genetic of creature you're taking care of.
That's fair. I will say that I don't have any good confessions. I don't.
Well, then I guess that is the end of the show then, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. As always, Cindy always has something to confess, and I am always great.
No, Mikey apparently is not a sinful man and has nothing fun to talk about. So, with that being said, I bid everybody adieu. Remember, this month is September.
Yes.
It is we are coming to the end of the month, so if you'd like, please support us. If you have not subbed please sub for half the price of what sub normally is for
Click
the
that
remainder.
follow button so that you can always listen to us meander on about whatever we do. And again, if you don't make it to the show, that's okay, because we post on YouTube. That's the name of the place.
Yes, we post on YouTube. A lot of the time, our Facebook has reruns of what's going on.
Yeah.
We are working on reruns for Twitch. Are we not, or can we do that? now?
We've got reruns, but why rerun when you can
Be here
rewind?
live. Wait, what?
Say
Be
bye.
here live. Say bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Who are we rating?
Wait, who are we?
We're
Yeah.
in Gaming FTL.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
Gaming FTL. Let's go. We're rating. We're going.
go.